In today's world where we're so removed from nature, zoos are great reminders of just how diverse life is. That's why we think everyone should make a stop over at one of them every once in a while. Any trip here is bound to be memorable. But for a lifetime experience, our video features 10 of the best zoos around the world. Maybe you've been to any of them. Don't forget to share your experience in the comments below. Number 10. Barcelona Zoo, Spain. The Barcelona Zoo is fairly popular in a park called Parc de la Ciutadella. Started in 1892, most of its fame stemmed from a gorilla by the name of Snowflake. Snowflake was the only known albino gorilla in the world. Unfortunately, the gorilla died back in 2003. But still, there's a lot you can check out at this zoo. It has a little over 7,500 animals that account for about 400 species. A good deal of these animals are experiencing considerable population decline. Hence, they're either endangered or threatened. You'll meet animals like the Brazilian tapir, brown bear, Sumatran tiger, European bison, California sea lion, and so on. The zoo's top attractions include a terrarium, a primate house, a land of dragons, and an aquarium. The land of dragons features the Indonesian leopard species called the Komodo dragons, known for their large size among the lizards. Aquarium, on the other hand, exhibits dolphins goofing around for visitors' excitement. Number 9. BASEL Zoological Garden, Switzerland. It's mostly referred to as the Zoo BASEL, or Zolli among Basel residents. Established on July 3, 1874, it's Switzerland's oldest and largest zoo, housing at least 645 species of animals. And at nearly 2 million annual visits, it is the most visited tourist site that charges a fee in the country. Beyond Switzerland's borders, it was ranked in the top 15 best zoos in the world by Forbes Traveler, and is featured among Europe's top 7 by the Zoological Society of London. So it has quite a lot to offer if these awards are anything to go by. Zoo BASEL recorded the first Indian rhinoceros and the first greater flamingo hatch in a zoo. Of course, you can't see these, but there are plenty of interesting sights. Here are some of the exhibits and what to expect when you visit. The Monkey House. This is the zoo's largest building and has produced the first gorilla baby in Europe, the very rare white-faced Saki babies, and the first second-generation zoo gorilla in the world. Africa exhibit. This is the dwelling place for zebras, hippos, and ostriches. Birdhouse. Opened back in 1927, it's the zoo's second largest building. It houses, as the name indicates, several species of birds. Sauter Garden. The main animals here are of Asian origin, namely macaques, Indian rhinoceros, and snow leopard. Number 8. Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium, USA. Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium began operation in 1894 under the name Riverview Park Zoo. The current name was adopted in 1963. It was simply an act of honoring Margaret Hitchcock Dorley's request of naming the place after her husband after she made a $7,500,000 donation. It has come a long way since being known as the trailblazer in animal conservation and research. It now shines on the good times front, at least according to TripAdvisor, that termed the zoo as the best in the world. Looking at what it holds, you'll agree that it's truly a stunning place to be. There are about 962 species thrown around in the various record-holding exhibits. Here's a few notable ones. The Desert Dome. Built at a cost of $31.5 million, it's among the largest indoor deserts in the world. The desert features in the dome are drawn from various world deserts like the Sonoran Desert in the southwest United States, and the Namib Desert in the southern parts of Africa, and the Red Center in Australia. Animals here include the greater roadrunner, swiftfox, Cape Thick Knee, among others. Kingdoms of the Night. It's found beneath the Desert Dome and is the largest nocturnal animal exhibit. In the Kingdom of the Night, you'll encounter the largest indoor swamp in the world, a wet cave, a eucalyptus forest, just to mention a few. Hubbard Orangutan Forest. This segment was opened in 2005 and cost about $8.5 million. The main focus here is on primates. Wide Jungle. This is among the largest indoor rainforest exhibits on the planet. It features a rich collection of flora and fauna divided by continents, especially Asia, South America, and Africa. Garden of the Senses. This section is a mix of at least 250 different species of herbs, flowers, and trees. Birds are also part of the ecosystem here. South American parrots, macaws, and Australian cockatoos are some of the examples. Number 7. Taronga Zoo, Sydney, Australia. Taronga Zoo, Sydney was launched on October 7, 1916, and is Australia's largest zoo. The name Taronga translates to beautiful and aboriginal. And sure, the place is worth being on your bucket list. The zoo is home to over 4,000 animals and a little over 350 species. But all these animals are organized in various exhibits at the zoo. They include Blue Mountains Bushwalk, Australian Nightlife, Australian Wetlands, Platypus House, and among others. For the time it's been around, the zoo has seen quite some interesting events like the birth of Sumatran tiger cubs in January 2019, Australia's first elephant birth in 2009, and a platypus birth in February 2003. Naturally, these events have boosted the zoo's position as a tourism site in the world. The birth of the elephant, for instance, is responsible for thousands of visits to the zoo. Number 6. National Zoological Gardens of South Africa, South Africa. Also referred to as the Pretoria Zoo, it was founded in 1899 by a Dutch physician, J.W.B. Gunning. It's among the 8 largest zoos on the planet and is also among the most highly rated, so your visit here is sure to be worth it. On average, about 600,000 people visit the zoo every year. At the National Zoological Gardens of South Africa, you get to enjoy probably more than enough animals you can handle. The zoo is home to an estimated 9,000 animals and around 700 species. Leading the pack are mammals, birds, fish, invertebrates, reptiles, and finally, amphibians, are the least with just 7 species on the zoo grounds. Some of the individual animals you'll meet include black rhinoceros, Hartmann's mountain zebras, small primates, giraffes, and Bengal tigers. Number 5. Dubai Aquarium and Underwater Zoo, United Arab Emirates. The Dubai Aquarium and Underwater Zoo inside the prestigious Dubai Mall in the UAE started making waves early on. In the first week, at least 61,000 people booked tickets when it opened in 2008. This immense interest is only natural, especially if you consider all the goodies the zoo has to offer. The aquarium can hold about 10 million liters of water, which makes it one of the largest indoor aquariums in the world. Ever fancied getting up close and personal with aquatic creatures without the extra hassle of putting any additional on gear? If yes, then this underwater is just what you need. You can have a closer look at animals like jellyfish, crabs, piranhas, and at least 300 other sea animal species without getting wet or worried about being bitten. In total, there's about 33,000 animals to marvel at. Depending on the type of travel package you go with, you can get to enjoy behind-the-scenes tours, underwater observatory, and submersible simulator. Number 4. Singapore Zoo, Singapore. The Singapore Zoo was officially opened in 1973, financed by the Singaporean government to a tune of $9 million. Humans and animals are barred from interfering with each other by either wet moats or glass. Glass is specifically used to enclose animals that are good climbers, hence will have no trouble crossing the moats. The idea of moats has been largely applauded, as it was first implemented here. The idea is called the open concept, and the Singapore Zoo was the first to implement it. It's applauded worldwide as it allows animals more space to roam, a natural habitat of theirs. The zoo holds about 315 species and 2,530 individual animals in total. Among these, orangutans are the majority, making up the zoo home to the largest captive colony of these primates. Up 34% of these animal species in the zoo are listed as endangered. This has earned the Singapore Zoo worldwide recognition for the conservation efforts. Here are a few other animals you'll get to see at this revolutionary zoo: the pygmy hippo, mole rat, cotton-top tamarin, Amazon milk frog, ball python, and Sri Lankan leopard. Number 3. London Zoo, United Kingdom, or more known as the London Zoo, is the oldest in the world. Started in 1828, the intention wasn't to make a zoo. It served as a collection for scientific study for 4 years before the animal collection in the Tower of London was moved there. And even then, it didn't open to the public immediately. It took another 15 years before this happened. According to 2018 statistics, London Zoo has nearly 19,300 animals and over 650 species. This places it among the largest collection in the United Kingdom. Get to enjoy various sections of the zoo, like the reptile house. As you can guess from the name, this holds an assortment of reptiles like the Philippine crocodile, king cobras, lizards, Yemen chameleons, and so on. Animal adventure. Well, the whole zoo is an animal adventure, but this particular section is targeted at children. It has playgrounds, a water fountain, and most animals here are domestic. Expect to find goats, llamas, pigs, and chickens here. Into Africa. This area showcases animals from the African continent. African wild dogs, Chapman zebras, pygmy hippos, and warthogs are some of the species you'll find here. Gorilla Kingdom. The name here also speaks for itself. The area was opened in 2007 by the Duke of Edinburgh and houses mainly gorillas. Other animals you'll bump into here include monkeys and the Congo peafowl. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. ORANA Wildlife Park, New Zealand. The photo is a common sight in ORANA Wildlife Park in Christchurch, New Zealand. The park was set up in 1976 for several reasons, namely, to provide support for research about endangered animals, to provide a quality way for people to unwind, raise awareness about environmental and conservation issues, and, most importantly, conserve endangered native and exotic wildlife. At least 70 species and more than 400 animals dwell in ORANA Park. And just like in the photo, you get an opportunity to hand feed and have close-up interactions with the animals. Among these animals are gorillas, the only ones in the whole of New Zealand. The gorilla home, dubbed Great Ape Central, was opened in 2015 and cost the zoo $6 million.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.